Good evening and thanks for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Brooke Buckner. Several Easter egg hunts have already taken place in Central Arkansas this holiday weekend, and this morning THV 11's Carter Thweet was at one that was a little extra special. Why did this one stand out, Carter?
Well, Brooke, it's obvious when you see the smiles on these kids' faces that any Easter egg hunt is special. But when you consider what Burns Park in North Little Rock looked like just 2 years ago, it makes you even more grateful for days like this one.
4, 3.
At Burns Park in North Little Rock Saturday, every kid had the same thing in mind.
Eggs to really pick up eggs. Yeah, we picked up so many eggs.
It was one of several egg hunts in North Little Rock this weekend, according to Mayor Terry Hartwick.
Very excited to get Easter underway, and it's going to be neat watching all these little kids. It's not going to be hard to find an egg, as you can see behind me, but it's what it's about.
But there was something else besides just the large crowds that made this hunt special. You could say it marks a return to normalcy for Burns Park, which just 2 years ago was devastated by the Little Rock tornadoes.
Not everybody has a Burns Park, not every city does, but what we did and all the city workers has made it possible.
That's why Saturday may have meant just as much to the adults as it did the kids. That's true for North Little Rock native Trey Patterson, whose grandson Leo took part in the hunt.
Burns Park was a big part of my growing up. We used to ride around out here as teenagers, play golf. I mean, a lot of time has been spent out here. So, yeah, it was devastating to see that, and it's really good to see the growth back to getting back to some sort of normalcy.
So whether you saw this as just another Easter egg hunt or a meaningful post-tornado return, one thing is for sure: everyone had a good time.
It was fun, super fun. It was very fun too.
These kids are having a blast. That's what it's all about.
And today's egg hunt isn't the only sign of progress at Burns Park lately. Last month, they reopened Burns Park Funland, which had also been closed since the tornado.
All right, thank you, Carter. Well, it's a good thing people got those Easter egg hunts in before the storms arrive. Simone, as we look to get out for more egg hunts and other activities tomorrow, we may need to keep a close eye on the weather.
The earlier the better is really going to be the plan. We have a bit of a active afternoon and evening shaping up, but the whole day won't be rainy. So church goers, it won't look like it'll impact you, but definitely as we get into the afternoon, things will start to change. So we've issued a THV 11 weather impact alert. Since our 6 o'clock show, I have adjusted the timing of this a bit because when that new data came out at 7, it doesn't look like it'll be lasting as long into the overnight hours. So from 2 p.m. to midnight on Monday, that's when you need to make sure you're weather aware. Again, all modes of severe weather are on the table, so make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. Here's a look at tomorrow's risk outlook. We have that level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk for about the northwestern quarter of the state, getting about as far south as northern portions of Montgomery, Garland into Saline and Pulaski counties. That does include Little Rock and North Little Rock. So again, from 2 to midnight tomorrow, you need to make sure you're weather aware. All of this associated with this storm system that's producing some severe thunderstorm watches and tornado watches off to our west. So as this starts to move east through our neighborhood tomorrow, we're going to see some of those same impacts. We'll be talking more about what you need to know coming up in that 11-day outlook.
Little Rock police are investigating a shooting that took place overnight. Police say it happened at the Shell gas station on Asher Avenue around 3:30 this morning. Once officers arrived, they found one man who had been shot dead and another who was taken to the hospital and remains stable. We also know a third victim later drove himself to the hospital, but tonight no other information is available. Stick with us here on THV 11 as we work to learn more. And an investigation is also underway at a gas station in Benton. Last night, police surrounded the area right along the I-30 service road at the Sevier Street exit in what we now know was a shooting that left one man dead. Police tell us there is no threat to the public, but we will continue to keep you updated as we get more information. And over in Faulkner County, Conway police are looking for answers in an early morning shooting on UCA's campus. The university said shots were fired just after 1 a.m. The only injury, a student who they say was a bystander. That student has since been released from the hospital. One suspect is in custody and is not believed to be a current or former UCA student. That incident comes less than a week after the deadly Conway Park shooting where 2 people died and 9 others were hurt. This is a video of a balloon release in North Little Rock last night. And as you can see there from the crowd, the violence is touching the lives of people from all over central Arkansas. We reached out to police today for an update on any potential suspects, but have not heard back. Meanwhile, classes will resume Monday at Florida State University after the shooting that killed 2 people and injured several others on Thursday. CBS's Katie Wise spoke with the university's president and has an update from Tallahassee.
It was pretty terrifying. We were on lockdown. The FSU police were the ones that took care of the shooter. We were so proud of what they did because it could have been so much worse.
FSU President Richard McCullough says the university is setting up resources for the victims of Thursday's mass shooting. The gunman injured 5 people and killed 2 men working on campus.
And it's overwhelming because I feel a responsibility to keep everybody safe, as part of my job.
A memorial on the FSU campus grows by the day. Police say the accused gunman, 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, sustained significant injuries during a shootout with officers and will likely be in the hospital for some time before he can be criminally charged.
At this point, there does not appear to be any connection at all between the shooter and any of the victims.
As investigators gather more evidence, the community begins the tough task of trying to heal.
How do you feel that living through something like this changes how you lead moving forward?
It's unfortunate this is becoming more commonplace, but we're strong and we'll work through it together.
Now, police say the suspect used a handgun that belonged to his stepmom. She's a local county sheriff's deputy who is now on personal leave. I'm Katie Weiss, CBS News, Tallahassee, Florida.
The community also coming together here at home to support a longtime Little Rock restaurant. Homer's East on Roosevelt is closed after catching fire Thursday afternoon, but this closure comes with a silver lining. The restaurant closed at 2 Thursday and caught fire not long after. Then it started up again early Friday morning, just adding to the damage. The owner says although the damage looks bad, she's taking all the good memories with her to the next chapter for Homer's.
The community is really going back and talking about how much they loved it and their memories here, and it's made me feel like we did a good job here while we were here. And so now it's time to move on and do something different.
They plan on opening a food trailer to meet customers where they're at. The owners also started a GoFundMe to raise money for displaced employees. If you would like to, you can make a donation through the link posted in this story on our website. Today marks the 30th anniversary of the devastating bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, where 168 people died, making it the deadliest act of domestic terrorism in U.S. history. Morgan Wrigley has more on the ceremony that took place this morning to remember the lives lost.
As we have done each year for the past 30 years, we gather as a community on April 19th to remember, to learn from what happened, and to grow and heal.
It was a packed auditorium at First Church in Oklahoma City on Saturday morning. Every seat was full. People lined the walls around the auditorium for the ceremony honoring the 30th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing.
On holy ground.
The crowd heard touching musical performances and thoughts from Susan Chambers, chairman of the memorial, along with past and present city and state leaders and national leaders, including former President Bill Clinton.
I still remember as if it were 30 minutes ago coming here with Hillary to that memorial service and saying, "You have lost too much, but you have not lost everything. You have certainly not lost America, and we will be with you for as many tomorrows as it takes." I wish to goodness every American could just see life unfold here, hear these stories.
After the ceremony, family, survivors, and first responders walked to the memorial. Many, like Joe Bowers and his daughters, Emery and Carrie, visiting the chairs of their loved ones.
My mother, Carol Bowers, who was Social Security Administration. You say, hey, let's do something. She gone. We're going. Spiritual lady, very giving, very kind. These are my daughters. These are her granddaughters. So, which she never got to meet them, but she loved them, and I think she She watches over them.
The Bowers family comes to the memorial every year on this day. They say this year's ceremony was deeply meaningful.
The turnout was huge this year, and that speaks volumes to how our generation's not forgetting. We're still remembering, we're still honoring, and we can't wait to see her someday.
For families who return each year, these gatherings have become a chance to reconnect and remember.
And you kind of become a family with the other families. So there's people you always want to see.
As the years go on, countless people like the Bowers continue to work to make sure the world never forgets.
And if it's not for us sharing the stories, what we've heard, what we've experienced, this won't go on much longer.
All right, tomorrow won't be a total bust. If you get an early start to the morning, you have until about middle day to spend some time outside. Any last minute Easter egg hunts before things start to change in the afternoon. More details on that change and what you need to know are coming up after the break.
And the puppies were out at UA Little Rock this afternoon. How they're helping raise money for students while also striking a pose.